Yo, what up? There's no graceful way for me to enter the stream. I just have to unmute my mic and then say something. Every time, I feel like every time I stream, and every time I come in and I start talking, I get people in the chat that said, "Yo, you jump scared me, whoa." You sound like you're in grave need of a nap. Not really. I might sound like that, but I did that, I don't know, I do that on purpose. I need some water right now is what I need. A simple greeting never fails. I just said good morning last time and people freaked out. Like they didn't open the stream themselves. Yeah, that's a good point. Like you open the stream, I guess because I play the music pretty quiet pre-stream. So, yeah. Maybe transition the screen when you get ready to speak. I don't know. I like the starting soon screen. I've been using this for, maybe it is time I get a new starting soon. I do have some ideas for things that I could use. This sounds a little stupid, but do you guys know what a mind palace is? Like a memory palace? It's like a made-up fictional, not even fictional, but it's like an imaginary location in your, that you can picture in your mind, and you like place things in there to remember stuff. I watched a video about it, I looked into it a little bit more, and I tried to develop my own. So I'm thinking like, maybe make a digital version of that, and then have some environments and do that as like a starting soon. I don't know. There's a lot of cool ideas that I have based on this fucking memory palace thing. I can't lie, I love the phrase giant woman. It sounds so goofy. I do like that. It's so like endearing, I think. Cuz if you say like big woman, it's like, oh, you're like calling her fat. But no, you just say giant woman. It's like, hell yeah. Well, fucking giant. Mind Palace makes me think of BBC Sherlock. That's kind of I've heard that they use that in that show a lot, but it's a concept that's been around since I'd have to guess Greek philosopher time. Yes, no. Ancient Roman and Greek. It's a mnemonic device from ancient Rome and Greece, which is to like walk through in your, like, picturing in your mind to walk through like a location that's like full of objects that represent memories. Currently mine is literally like a shack in my backyard that has like a table and there's like things on the table. And I have 4 memories in there. Isn't that essentially what the gem's interiors are? At least pearls seem to be a set of mind palace inceptions. Yeah, a little bit. I would say that it's... The idea of a mind palace is so, like, simple to grasp in... Rather, it's very simple to depict in a visual medium. Because it's inherently a visual way of thinking. If you have that, aphantasia or whatever, where you can't see it, you're just out of luck. There's a good video about it. I may link that. However, right now we are talking about Story for Steven. Cosmo and Wanda Fishbowl Castle. It would be kinda, I don't know. I saw some pre-stream chatter about how one person doesn't like Rose Quartz because Rose Quartz is supposedly a bad person, and that's such like bad rhetoric, I think. Because if I go to their reasoning, I'm just gonna read through a little bit. She sees Pearl's jealousy and hurt feelings, and she laughs about it. Wait. Leaves Greg and Steven. What if Rose Quartz got pregnant with Steven and like didn't know that she would die for it? Is Rose a bad person for wanting a child? I say no. I love the rainy title card. It's always... The title cards are always representative of how the episodes are. Not only is it raining during the actual episode, but it is raining at the end when Greg's on that giant woman grind set. Hold on, I'm gonna read your thing out loud. I still want to know what Rose giving birth looked like. I can only think of that, like, a few years ago there was a meme on, like, Twitter or something where people would post, like, now draw her giving birth. That's all I can think of. It probably wouldn't look like anything. It's just a flash of light and then Rose is gone and Steven's there. I've said that before on stream. That's the boring answer, but it's probably the correct one. Let's talk about the giant woman part later when we get to the van scene. There's a few van scenes in this episode. The van scene with Marty saying... Oh, sorry, flickering. You just want one really big... My phone's going off. You want one really big woman when you can have multiple smaller ones. Can't say that I've ever had multiple smaller women before, so I don't know what it's like, Marty. I like the theory that the flash of light caused Greg's permanent sunburn look. I've heard that before. That seems like a pretty cool idea where he got like super tan from one giant fucking like camera flash. That line was edited in the UK. My problem is I'm not reviewing the UK. Oh, you're saying it doesn't make sense when Greg says women are people too. Yeah, the censorship is fucked in this show. I like having the original version, I think. I'm curious what the show would have been. You know, like Cartoon Network censors exist already. Like, they had to adjust things before they could get it to play on American TV with a PG rating. Like, I wonder what was left on the cutting room floor is basically what I'm trying to say. Leaving in Marty, women are people without the context is so funny. That is a weird thing to think about. They skipped the gay wedding so the Diamond Days arc just happens for no reason. That's why they rushed the ending for season 5, because they knew they wouldn't get picked back up in countries where they don't like gay people. Your Russias, your Middle Eastern countries, places like that, Eastern European. I don't know how much Eastern Europe, how legal and how taboo being gay is in those countries. I don't know. So promo for season 3, calling the episode super silly. Estonia is the only country in this region with legal gay marriage. Interesting. That is very... I would call that Eastern Europe. Whenever I think of Eastern Europe, I somehow gravitate towards Southeast Europe, like past the Balkans. I can't think of any countries off the top of my head. I tried to learn all the countries, all their locations, and I was doing these like flashcards and shit, and I forgot a lot of them. There's a lot of little countries. I don't even know the little states in the United States. I was like freaking out. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was freaking out that like New Hampshire is a state, and I like had totally forgotten. Rose has sausage fingers. She's like me. She's got fat fucking sausage fingers. I swear, the reason I don't type faster than I do, I already type pretty fast. I type about 80 words per minute. I swear to God, I would type way faster if my fingers weren't so fucking massive, and I just keep fat fingering the whole keyboard. If I could like write a whole Gemology script in like maybe an hour or two. Probably an hour. It's longer because I keep fucking up the typing. It is, wait, reverse finger thing? Ugh. Or the reverse hand thing. She's almost like doing the Vulcan salute, but just kind of casually. If her fingers were outstretched, it would be the Vulcan salute. There's also a regular ass hand down here where he's grabbing a star. That's not a diamond, that's just a star. Like a diamond in the sky. Bro, is this foreshadowing the fucking diamond blast, diamond wave? Where they Kamehameha the earth? Greg does also have sausage fingers. And no fingernails. No characters have fingernails in this episode. Or in the show in general, now that I think about it. There's a lot of times where 5 fingers on a character does look weird. I will say on the, her holding... I don't know what it is. I think it's just the fact that her pinky is so, like, smushed and scrunched. Usually when you curl your hand up, the pinky is, like, all the way curled up. I don't know how to describe it. It's, like, not... I don't know. It feels like there's a whole knuckle missing here. Is White Diamond the only character with nails? I don't know. I feel like characters have had fingernails in the past. I might be, like, having fucking Mandela effect shit going on. Dude, I heard the fishing sound in the Stardew Valley fishing sound in this song, and I had, like, a guttural reaction. I had, like, instinctual trying to, like, oh, I gotta click it to fucking reel in my fish. Oh yeah, Sugalite had fingernails. I'm sure Steven has painted his nails at least once. I think you're probably right. Steven seems like the kind of person... I don't remember if he... I don't think he does it in the show. I'm pretty sure he would be the kind of person to do that, though. She's so high. No, she's just fucking tired. She's just jaded. She's realizing this is the end of her fucking around phase. That I say that in more ways than once. She's about to start her finding out phase, basically. Didn't he do it for Sadie's song? Yeah, he was dressed in drag that one time. But did he paint his nails? He did. He had the dress on. He did makeup. Was it a dress or was it... Yeah, it was like a two-piece thing. I have found a screenshot. I can definitively say that he did not have painted nails. Look at this unflattering ass screenshot too. This frame that they picked on the official Steven Universe YouTube channel. Look at that face. He did not have painted nails, no. He had the makeup. He had the fucking mascara. He had the dress on. Is that a dress? Do you call that a dress? What is that? Someone turn off the lights? It's a performance. He's on stage. You need lights. What color would his nails have been? Probably like purplish, pinkish. I don't know. Fucking, he's Steven, so probably it's a skirt, right? Skirt with crop top. I don't know. It's a fucking, it's, my brain just sees that they're matching colors and it's like, oh, that's a dress, right? That's a dress. I love the tavern music in Stardew Valley. Pink is his color because he is the Rose Quartz. I do think this is the beginning of Vidalia's finding out phase. That, like, doing it with this motherfucker in the back of some stranger's van was like, yeah, maybe not the best idea. I do want to look again at... I know I talked about it in the show, or in the video. I want to talk about this little background. This is not an arcade yet. There's no smile sign. I didn't mention the smile sign. We were robbed of time with Vidalia. That was Marty's time. Marty took that from us because Marty got his time with Vidalia, if you know what I mean. It was before she finds out she's pregnant. She probably knew at that point. She probably was like, yeah, this may have not been a good decision. We'll get a lot more. We'll get more time with Vidalia in season 2, but also we also get screen time stolen away from her by Onion, because that's kind of an Onion episode, even though it definitely should have been a Vidalia episode. So what was this before it was the arcade? It's something on the boardwalk. Probably like a little grocery store or something. Not a grocery store necessarily, but like a gift shop. Big ass gift shop. Last big city that I stayed in and did any like did anything major in was Las Vegas, and there were some big ass gift shops on like the strip. I would have to guess that Vidalia was in her 20s or so. Like early 20s when she shows up. And sour cream is, by the time, what do you call it? By the show playing, like, sour cream is probably also in his 20s. Like, sour cream is as old as Vidalia is here. I stan adult Vidalia. I agree. I think Vidalia is cool. Like, one of the best townies. I've said it before, like, top 5 townies in the whole show. Having kids will do that to you. Yeah, you'll put on a lot of weight. Some people put on a lot of weight and then don't lose it after the fact. I don't know much about pregnancy because I'm not a woman, at least not professionally. I think Greg's a big dude. So you think he's ever been just fucking, like, deadlifted like this and then thrown? It's a miracle that she can age gracefully knowing that she's also Onion's mom. That's true. And Sour Cream's mom. I don't know if you understand that, like, Sour Cream's a DJ and doesn't know how to use headphones. So he just fucking blasts music constantly. We love you, 80s Garnet. I fucking love 80s Garnet, dude. I also like this frame. This is a very good... Greg they definitely did it on purpose to make Greg look like Steven. Like younger Greg, to make him look like Steven in these episodes. So he gets to make faces like Steven does. Isn't it the 90s? I don't know, they look more 80s to me. Specifically, Garnet looks very 80s. And like I said, Pearl looks like she came out of an aerobics tape. Let's see. Yeah. I dig Pearl with her hair down. I've always liked Pearl with her hair down. Like in, what was it? Which episode? It was the fucking... Steven and the Stevens, where they all come through the warp pad after the fucking... The Temple of Time or whatever gets flooded. Because Amethyst grabbed the janky-looking hourglass. Everyone gets soaked, but Pearl specifically had, like, her hair is, like, straight down. I don't know, I just like that design. Season 1 takes place in 2013, so if it was the 80s, that means Greg would be in his mid-50s. By the time the show takes place. That sounds about right. Greg can be in his 50s. I think my dad was in his 50s when I was a teenager. Also, I just rewatched the first Harry Potter movie, so I'm looking at Owl Amethyst here, and I'm thinking of her delivering letters. Rainbow Quartz 1.0 screams 80s workout tape a hell of a lot more than Pearl does here. Yeah, sorry, Piral does here. Rainbow 2.0 having a fucking leotard is like absolutely 80s workout tape. Also, did we ever have confirmation that I like this. Did we ever have confirmation that Pearl was the only other gem that Rose Quartz fused with? Because like if you're a fusion, can't you like dig up those fucking secrets that like, oh, this is actually not, that Rose Quartz is actually not a Rose Quartz and she's some other fucker who rules over everybody? Obsidian, true. But with that many other gems, would it like obscure that? I guess maybe my thought is like not quite. There's too many like holes in my idea of like being able to tell what kind of gem you're fusing with. That would also apply to Smoky. Well, I don't think Smoky Quartz existed before Amethyst and Steven fused. I think that's because when Smoky Quartz first appears, they're like, who am I now? And it's like, they just don't understand. Pearl hid the fact that she was attempting to fuse with Garnet, so there was that in the sense of hiding info. Yeah. I think it's pretty easy to like hide your thoughts now that the evidence has been presented to me. So Greg has like a bunch of piercings. I didn't mention that. I kept thinking like, when's a good time I could mention this in the video, and I just never did. Also, I gotta find out, before I go any farther in this episode, I gotta find out who boarded this one, because doing Gemology, I have started to recognize board artist styles. And so far, these guys' styles, Joe Johnston and Jeff Liu, they do my favorite style. My least favorite is actually the storyboard artists that do the next episode, which is a good episode. It's up on Patreon. The Message. I forget who that is. I can look that up. Hold on. The Message was done by Lamar Abrams and Helen Jo. I think Helen Jo was off in season 2, because Lamar Abrams is a name that lasted till like the very fucking end of the show, I believe. What's the signature on his guitar? 10 Kia. I don't know. I don't know what that means. On his electric guitar, it says Jader. I don't know what Jader means specifically. I mean, jade is a fucking gem, of course, but is it supposed to be like Fender, but it's like a gem? I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to consider that because no other point in the show do they do like gem puns on fucking products. Also, isn't Pearl a drum brand? Yeah. I believe it is. I don't know much about drums. I'm actually really terrible at drums. Of all the instruments that I play, I don't own a drum set or own any drums, so I've always been shit at drums because I've never had any opportunity to, like, practice. Yeah, the cursive M has 3 humps, while an N has 2. It's really weird. If you don't know cursive very well, it's hard to understand that. Let me look at Owl Methist a few more times. I also think I failed to do the best animation segment in a lot of these videos. I said I would do a best animation segment. People seem to complain that I don't, because there's a lot of points where it's like it's really hard to find something that's like outstanding. But this one, I liked it. I think this is the fucking coolest animation in, even though it's like looped like 5 frames. I think it's cool. Like whatever reference you use for an owl doing some crazy shit like this is cool as fuck. I love when characters stretch to take over the whole screen. Yeah, that's it, exactly right. You're on point with that. I really love the flashback episodes. I think the Rose and Greg episodes are literally my favorite in, like, the whole show. If I could pick like a genre of episodes, it's the Rose flashback episodes. Hootie? Is this Owl House reference? I will say, someone said Hootie solos everyone but White Diamond. Well, Hootie does not solo Uncle Grandpa. Uncle Grandpa wins every fight. Because he's got fucking plot armor and toon physics. Say Uncle is not canon. People keep saying Say Uncle is canon. Don't worry, kid. This isn't canon. I want to believe it's canon. A lot of people want to believe that the pink diamond, or the you gotta get this thing polished twice a year is foreshadowing when it's not. It's a joke about teeth. Go to the dentist twice a year. That's a reminder to go to the dentist. That's a reminder for me to go to the dentist. It's been over 6 months since I've been. I think it's like 7 months. I need to go again. It's too shadowing at best, yeah. You ever seen that video of owls? They had a bunch of birds. They had like pigeons and then like a hawk or something. They were flying over a set of microphones. And then they got an owl to fly over that same set of microphones, and it was totally fucking silent. That was like one of the coolest videos I've ever seen. Spinel gets a little bit of cartoon physics as a treat. Yeah. She doesn't get like hammer space, but she does have her little gem pocket dimension thing, which is pretty close. Why does she look so disheveled in this? Just the way her like hair falls into place. Is that just me, or does she look like totally like she just woke up from a fucking nap? Whoever boarded this didn't like drawing Rose's hair. I disagree. I think Rose's hair looks really fucking good in this episode. Any of you guys watch Legend of Korra? You ever see her hair? You know, Korra's hair in that show? Her hair in that show goes crazy. I'll just say that. I love watching Rose's hair become easier to draw over time. Yeah, and all the way until she becomes her hair becomes a big afro and doesn't hang down at all. See, now she doesn't have sausage fingers. This had to have been Garnet blushed when she let Greg down. I haven't watched any Avatar, really. Well, end the stream now and then go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's one of my like top like 3 favorite shows of all time. Even though fingers are a mixed bag, this show might be the best at drawing toes. I know you want me to go zoom in on Rose Quartz's feet in that one shot. I'm not doing that, except I will. I lied. For all you feet people out there you go. There's her fucking feet. Except they look weird. I think this is supposed to be the bottom of her foot. This one looks fine. This one, I don't fucking know. It looks like it should be the bottom, but there's like a line missing. No, that's not the bottom. Wait, it should be. There should be a line right here. You know, like I don't have the tool. There you go, Rose Quartz feet. Greg feet for bonus. Okay. Does Rose Quartz have a wiki feet page? If not, we gotta make one. I'm not reading that off chat, I'm just saying. Feet analysis. If they have to give Avatar: The Last Airbender another chance, then you have to give Owl House a first chance. I gave Owl House a first chance, and I just didn't get past season 1. I have no way to watch it right now other than piracy because I don't have any sort of Disney. I don't have Disney, and I'm not willing to pay for it. I'll find it on fucking Internet Archive to be a slightly more legitimate way of pirating it. I love this expression. I don't know, just the way she's like excited about a fucking shirt. It's like me. Do you think this show would have looked better with 4 fingers instead of 5? I think it's really hard to make a show look better with 4 fingers. Like if you have a really wacky art style or if you have a really simple art style, I think 4 fingers can work. However, this show isn't really wacky or simple. So I think 5 fingers works really well. Like, I say wacky, like if it's Ed, Edd and Eddy, like that's wacky. They have 4 fingers in that show. And in Adventure Time, that show is simple. And then, well, most cases it's simple. And they have 4 fingers. Do they have 4 fingers in that show? I think most of the time they do. And then there's Billy, who has 6 fingers. I gotta sit down. I've been telling myself this forever. I gotta sit down and watch Adventure Time like start to finish. Feet and hands are both fun to draw and hard to make look right. Yeah. I like drawing hands. I used to suck at it, as everyone did at one point. I think hands are fucking cool to draw. Because you can just make... First of all, you always have a reference. You always have 2 references for hands when you're drawing. Secondly, a hand can make like a billion different shapes from different angles. Amethyst is so enamored by this human guy. The struggle of hand drawings. There's some, like... I don't want to call it irony, but I guess that's, like, the one word that I can use. But there's, like, some amount of irony to AI struggling with hands for so long. When people you could always... For a really long time, you could always tell an AI-generated image by... the hands, or the fact that the people making those images would always tell it to have like the character's hands behind their back so it wouldn't fuck them up. Which, let's be honest, we've all done at one point. It was like, oh, I'm gonna put my character's hands behind their back so I don't have to fucking draw their hands. Also, my favorite line in this episode is, where the hell is it? No one can ignore the universe. That's such a good fucking, like, pickup line. Holy shit. I don't know if that's a pickup line, but, like, it's just like, I got nothing to say other than swish, dude. It's... swish. I think they should have retroactively made modern Amethyst crawl around all feral sometimes, just to show she's always been like that. Yeah, I can't remember if you said that or if someone else said that. Where, like, I still think that Amethyst should not be behaving too differently from how she does in the present day, because that's like what, 20 years, between 20 and 30 years or whatever. It's what kids today would call unmatched aura. I call it both Greg and Rose have like a 20 in charisma. We're getting on D&D again because I can't stop talking about D&D in any of these streams. But like these motherfuckers, they are maxed out charisma. I think a retelling of Steven Universe could work as a major film trilogy. I don't think it would. I think there's too much like nuance that would be lost by not having a full show. I do think they could trim the fat on this show, take out some of the less useful episodes, and rewrite it. I've wanted to do that at some point. I don't know if I'll ever get to it. I have a friend doing, he calls it Steven Universe Kai, where he does exactly that. He like trims the fat. He like he takes a few episodes and calls them like these are like a light skip or like an absolute skip or like an absolute must. Steven Universe Kai, yeah. He has a Google Doc. And some of the decisions in there are a little bit weird. I'm not gonna show it on stream, but I will pull it up. I'm gonna read off some of these. So where the hell? Shared with me. Steven Universe Kai. Where the fuck is it? Hello? Steven Universe Kai. Okay, here we go. He had 5 ratings. There's absolute must, then must, light skip, and then skip. And he describes it like this. Absolute must is Juggernaut episode that is show altering. Must is rewatchers and first-timers need to watch it. Light must is mandatory for first-timers, suggestion for rewatchers. A light skip is not necessarily a bad episode, just nothing significant that connects to any future stories. And then the skip is a drag to sit through and a hindrance to an otherwise great cartoon. Which is to say episodes like Future Boy Zoltron is the one that comes to mind. Cause that episode is a fucking drag. Okay, I'm gonna read off some of these that are like total nonsense. Let me see. Okay, no, I think he adjusted some of these. Yeah, I think he did go in and change some of these because there were some really fucking awful decisions that were in this. I think I complained to him and he changed a bunch of them. Anyway, he's been telling me that he's been wanting to make a video about that for a really long time, and I will be part of that video when it comes out. So you will all know when it happens. Because I get to do that. I get to do the funny YouTube collaborator. What's that new feature that you can like do a collaboration with someone and then it appears in both people's subscriber feeds? That's like cool. I wish they had that ages and ages ago. Rose looks really slim in this shot. Which, I gotta go back, because I can't remember. This one? Yeah. I think she mostly is slim. She's just got... She's not, like, fat, right? Like, I wouldn't call Rose Quartz fat. She's got big arms. She's very tall. She's very busty. And she's got a big, poofy dress. She's not thin by any means, but she's also... I don't know, I wouldn't call her fat. Where's another, like, good shot of just, like full... I don't know. Where the hell... Maybe this one? It's so difficult to tell, too, because of the big poofy dress. You can't, like, see her fucking, like, figure or whatever. Rose isn't fat, she's thick. Okay, I can agree with that. She's also doing the hand thing. Pearl sort of designed Rose's form. Ooh, that's a weird one. I'll probably... I'll have to remember to say that in, like, 2 years when we get to that episode. She's not thick, she's giant. I can also agree with that one. She can, I mean, a gem can be giant but not thick. Like, Opal was not thick. She was pretty thin. But she was also giant. A giant woman. Dude, POV, you are... This is me, and you are literally any animal that I find outside. I got a bad habit of, like, picking up every fucking animal that I see. I'll pick up fucking rabbits, turtles, frogs, spiders, beetles, wasps. Sugalite? Wait. What? Wait, what are... I don't even know what chat is talking about at this point. The one time I would appreciate that, that, like, AI chat, whatever the hell that is. You know, the little chat summary that YouTube has sometimes. When Jasper fuses with Lapis, did they animate Lapis to be thinner? I don't know. I don't think so. Lapis is like Pearl thickness. Like, she's about the same figure. Just about. I don't know, it's hard to tell because Pearl is very thin in some episodes, depending on who's drawing her. Oh, I can sing. Jasper is also just big. Jasper and Rose Quartz are like same height, basically. She's so petty. She's big and buff and muscular, and there are a lot of people I know personally who are into that thing. Also, Pearl's blood, like, being flushed and blushing is... She's got blue blood. Someone... I think it was in the comments... Garnet is giggling here because she future visioned to see that Rose and Greg ended up getting together. What is this? What is this lullaby bedtime music? What is this? Alex's keepsake. Bedtime. It's bedtime lullaby music. Garnet is giggling because she thought it was funny. It was pretty funny because Pearl is very petty and that's funny. I love this face. Pearl makes the best faces. Also, her nose is like tiny in this shot. Garnet seeing that far into the future would be insane. What, like later that day? Where Greg comes in and like confesses to Rose? And Rose goes for him? Her terrifying renegade Pearl. I don't know. If I encountered Pearl in real life... Just the way she spoke to me, I'd be pretty scared. If she started talking about, like, human mortality and shit, I'd be like, what the fuck? Rose and Jasper did meet. Well, Rose created Jasper, technically. Well, Pink Diamond created Jasper. That's why the beta kindergarten is all fucked up, because, when Pink Diamond was like... When she was being told, you need more soldiers to fight these crystal gems, she, like, half-assed another kindergarten. Because she was sabotaging her own fucking army. She was double agenting. My hypothesis, my theory though, is that Jasper, imagine one of the other diamonds, like Yellow Diamond, coming down, looking at the beta kindergarten and being like, what is this drivel? And then she, like, positions an injector so perfectly that it like, really cleanly drills in and creates Jasper. That is how you place an injector or some shit. I don't fucking know. This question still remains. And this will be answered in Lars of the Stars, I fucking hope to God. Why did the gems need soldiers? Who were they fighting? What kind of fucking, like, other armies were they going up against? Alien armies. Has it ever been said how long the war lasted? I think about 1,000 years. Maybe. Not thousands of years. About 1,000 years. Probably less. Because the war started 6,000 years ago and then ended around 5,000? Less than, or a little more than 5,000 years ago? That's like the question about gem society to me. Yeah, it's like, why do the gems exist? Why do any of these, like, soldiers and these commander naval people exist. Also, keep my Aldi quarters in my tape deck. You're not supposed to do that, apparently. Kind of wild that it's implied that humans never took part in the war. I think they did, though. I think that's what all that armor was in Rose's armory, was armor for soldiers, for human soldiers. That, and also, those were the living armor sets that were possessed by the Frybo gem shards. Panties in the tape deck? No, he said pennies, like coins. Pennies. Oh, they stopped minting pennies. I went to my bank. I had to make a deposit, a physical fucking deposit at my bank the other day, and I went in there and they said, yeah, we're not distributing pennies anymore. So if you ask for, like, rolls of coins, like, you're not gonna get pennies. Also, this really weird-ass animation mistake. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4... It was 3 frames. They stopped producing pennies like over a year ago at this point. No such thing as a good war, kiddo. Gems were destroyed, people too. Yeah, that's confirmation. That's all the confirmation you really need for knowing that humans fought in the war. I don't know, humans probably would have fucking fought for the only planet they know, right? I don't think they had astronomy at that point in human history, so they only knew about the one Earth. There's a tiny Marty in Greg's hair. That's why Greg isn't balding. He just had to shave the top of his head because that's where tiny Marty was living. And he was being ratatouille'd by tiny Marty for a really long time. So he had to just shave the top of his head so nobody could ratatouille him anymore. We are the Martylings. Please feed us. I want to see Ronaldo fight in a gem war. Dude, if Ronaldo doesn't show up in Lars of the Stars, I'm genuinely going to be a little bit upset. Like, a little bit. I feel like Ronaldo and Lars need to make amends and just, like, you know, be pals already. And then they get to say bingo bongo. Why would you have one giant woman when you could have multiple smaller ones? Imagine how mad Ronaldo would be if he knew Lars could invite him to his real spaceship at any time, but he won't. We need like a snap to earth episode where it's just the Ronaldo point of view, and it's like he's reading some shit or seeing like fucking Snapchat stories from Lars, and he's like, just conquered a planet, just killed a fucking rebel gem vessel, and Ronaldo looks down at his phone, like shocked expression. He goes, "What the fuck? Why didn't I get to be on the spaceship?" He says that. He says, "What the fuck?" Because it's an Amazon Prime show, so they can get a higher age rating and not have to abide by like cable company standards. Ronaldo should be allowed to say fuck. Yes, he's the only character who says fuck, and he says it a lot. I've seen that video. Wait, the Steven Universe from Greg's point of view. I don't know who... I can't remember who made that one. But Steven Universe from Ronaldo's point of view is just Ronaldo fucking watching anime the whole time. And then occasionally he's working the fry shop, and occasionally there's like an invasion. Ronaldo redemption arc. People are, I swear to God, well, Ronaldo is technically a self-insert for some of the, like a few of the writers, right? Or like 2 of the writers. Who the fuck was it? I don't have the art book. I know I was reading the art book at one point, and it mentions that Ronaldo is a self-insert for a couple of the writers. So if those writers are on for Lars the Stars, then they're gonna bring fucking Ronaldo in, I'm sure. If we start seeing posts on the Keep Beach City Weird Tumblr, like some shit is going down, I swear. If we go to keepbeachcityweird.blog and something's different, something's weird and different. Guys, remember to go to keepbeachcityweird.blog. Because I own that now. Oh, this is related to websites and domains and shit. I just set up an email server because I'm getting really close to finishing the test, to finishing grading the test. I have like less than 100 questions left to grade, which is to say that I've just been procrastinating on it a lot of the time. So I needed to set up an email server so I could officially send emails from my sourcemaster.net domain, so it's not just like me sending out emails from my fucking personal Gmail account. Because that would suck. It would suck to have to send those out from my personal email and then get spammed out by people spamming out my Gmail account. So, got an email, I got fast mail, and I'm gonna send out emails. Damn, I forgot about the test. There were 160 submissions to the test, and some people intentionally like failed. I will say, not a single person got a 0. Not one. There was at least one person who got 1 point. Employment, am I right? Yeah, it's mostly me fucking having to work and then forgetting to do grading. Who the fuck got 1 point? Hold on, I want to read. I'm going to read some of these. I'm not going to show it on stream because I don't want to leak people's emails or Discord accounts or whatever. He's gonna get bonked on the head by that falling guitar. Let me see. Who the fuck got 1 point? I'm not gonna show this spreadsheet. Young Greg is a cutie NGL. There's a lot of people who think young Greg is hot. And I can totally see where they're coming from. Oh, there were 2 people who got 1 point. What question did they get correct? Okay, they got the Wednesday answer. They Gemology comes out on Wednesday. They got that right. And the rest of the essay questions, they answered skibbity toiler, skibbity toiler, skibbity toiler, skibbity toiler. A lot of people didn't want to do the essay questions, but I respect the people who did the essay questions, because those people are going to be the ones getting free Patreon. How does the water pool here? That doesn't seem like it should work, right? Skibbity toiling? If you're gonna answer with a cringy meme, you could at least spell it correctly. I am sure they spelt it incorrectly on purpose. I think Greg is a shapeshifter because, like, in these few frames, look at how he just gets taller. He gets like a foot taller just by turning around. Did I see any AI-generated answers on the test? I think there were a few, and I avoided the answers that I thought were AI-generated. I ran one. I got really suspicious of one, and I ran it through one of those testers, which don't work. And it said it was like 96% or something like that. Best way to tell if something is AI generated is if there's a crap ton of hyphens. I think there were a lot of hyphens in the one that I was suspicious of. So that was one that I got suspicious about. Because who the fuck writes with hyphens? Not me. I can prove it. I can show you my Gemology scripts. Have I ever shown my Gemology scripts on stream? Let me not spoil the message video, however. Oh, some little background. A little bit of secret background shit that I do. Also, I need to never say "let's fucking go" ever again in a video. I don't know how to say "let's fucking go" with the correct energy. Let's fucking go. I use dashes a lot, but with the normal hyphens and not the long M dashes. Grammatically incorrect, but I don't think I could use M dashes anymore anyway. I think it doesn't matter, because if you're gonna write the, like, grammatically that doesn't matter, because if you're gonna write that same phrase on paper, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference between an M dash and a fucking hyphen. Because it's an arbitrary, like, made up character by the Unicode people. Simply say "let's fucking go"? I don't have that energy. That's just not me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna say let's fucking go because I'm like excited about Rose Quartz Star Eyes. But then I say let's fucking go, and then it's it doesn't have the right energy. I just can't. I can't. What do you call it? I don't have like I'm not that steeped in like Zoomer culture or whatever. I love how you wrote Mr. in full. The reason I write those things in full, like I'll write numbers out instead of typing out the numbers so I can read them. Like when I'm reading it off, it's a lot easier to read the word Mr. than to have MR period. Let me see. Did I have a single number typed out? If it's a number that's like bigger than 2 digits, I will type it out as a number and not as a word. I know that Mr. is an abbreviation for master. Yeah. And MRS for like Mrs. is for mistress. Which is interesting. I don't know. I learned that. I never learned that from a fucking... I like specifically looked that up to find out. So you'd have master and mistress for like a probably it's like what a servant, like what a butler would have called their fucking the owners of the house or whatever. He is doing the O_O face. Source Mister. You can call me... If I do an education YouTube channel, I'm going to call it Source Mister. Butlers and butlesses? Wouldn't it make more sense to call them buttlasses? Because they're lasses, they're ladies. It would be... Then it would be butt lads and butt lasses. Maybe that's not the best phrase. Source mistress? I'm not a woman. I can't be source mistress. Unless I have a mistress, in which case, then that could apply. Greg never took the fucking sale tag off of this thing. This is like a reused drawing that they pasted in here, I swear. So they just didn't cut the tag off. In another universe, in the fucking Fiona and Cake universe where everyone's gender swapped, there's someone doing gemology named Source Mistress, and instead of Steven universe, it's Nora universe. Isn't that crazy? Also, there's a blizzard going on. I don't know if you guys knew that. I don't know if you can hear the fucking wind outside. It's the hot dog selfie, yeah. Hot dog selfie with the portrait of my dead wife. Dead, girlfriend. The gems are male in that universe, yes. Wind's going crazy at my place as well. I got like a huge alert on my phone earlier. You know when you get those like super urgent alerts that like hijack your phone and even if your volume's down, they go crazy. I got one of those for something called a snow squall. I've never heard of a snow squall. And I had to look that up, but apparently it was, like, urgent enough that they had to fucking, like, blast my phone with emergency noises. Nor Universe gems are male. All majority of them are hunks. I mean, that seems accurate. I wouldn't say there's any, like, unattractive gems that exist in this show, other than maybe Topaz, who's, like, just, like, a rotund weirdo. I don't know. I'm not gonna make fun of Topaz. Topaz is fine. Just not like, conventionally attractive. Topaz catching strays. Also, if you use the phrase conventionally attractive, you can get away with any what do you call it? You can get away with calling a character attractive without people thinking that you're, like, you specifically are attracted to said character. Who is the ugliest gem? I would say in terms of fusions, probably Sugalite, but I think Sugalite being ugly is, like, part of the design. He's doing the hand thing. Because Sugalite's supposed to be, like, a borderline monster, right? Comey confirmed conventionally attractive. I forget that shit like Comey exist. The reason you know these gems exist, Vondel, is because you have your wheel. You've fused Comey with fucking who was it? I forget. Oh yeah, Sunstone is weird. Sunstone is the least. Comey is iconic. Sunstone is just very strange. I think the more fused you get, but if you're talking about, like, individual component gems, aside from Comey's a fucking weird, like, exception to the rule. There's always exceptions. Who named Malachite? Malachite named herself. Don't fusions name themselves? Diamonds are fucked up. Who the fuck needs a sentient comb? I think it's possible that the comb was an accident in the same way that Steven creating sentient pebbles was an accident. Where he cried on a fucking pebble and it became alive. Perhaps in the far past, Rose Quartz Pink Diamond cried while she was combing her fucking hair and created a sentient comb. Comey is like the least evil thing the diamonds did. Oh yeah, Comey was named after James Comey, which is weird. That's the only reason that fucking character exists. What does Rose do in her room? I think I've talked about this on stream before. Is like, I mean, it's holodeck, and the first thing anyone would do with a holodeck is VR porn, right? What's the second thing you do? Because that gets old pretty quick. Once you've done it, it's like, oh, it's not really worth it. I will talk about VR porn for just a second. I have the same take as Germa. I think that's fucking terrifying. To put on this headset and you're in like the most vulnerable state you could be in. I live alone, and even that, like even living alone, having all my fucking doors locked, I would still be afraid that if I had a fucking headset on, someone would walk into my room. That's like a fucking that's like a, I don't know, that's weird. Video games. Oh yeah, Rose Quartz is a gamer. I forgot about that headcanon that I established that exists in all of Gemology viewers at this point. What happened to the music? What the hell? You can tell the stream didn't stop because Amethyst is still twerking in the bottom corner. Why'd the music stop? Give me my music back. Let's pick Distant Banjo. Yeah. Minecraft in the Rose Room? Dude, I've played Minecraft VR. I say dude like I'm specifically talking. I'm just saying I've played Minecraft VR. It's impossible. But booting up a VR world booting up a world that you've played before in VR is kind of surreal. Like just being able to exist in that world, kind of. I like VR. It's very cumbersome, however, so I'm really excited for the new Valve hardware, the Steam Frame, where I can just like pop on a wireless headset and have it connect to my computer. That would be nice. I can never say dude naturally. I used to be in the same camp, but I don't know. I started saying it for some reason. I can't remember why. I said it like as a little joke at some point. It's one of those things that like invaded my lexicon by me starting to say it as like a goof, and then it just wormed its way into my daily lexicon. Or I'll just call people dude. And in the wise words from Good Burger, the movie Good Burger, dude is a gender neutral term. I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes. Maybe British people don't say it. That's also possible. They said lame a lot in the Loud House. And I've managed to work that word into my vocabulary and make it sound natural. I say lame quite a bit. I say there's a few words I get called out by a couple of my friends that I say. Like I've started to say, I don't know where I picked it up, but I say, huh? And I think I picked it up from Norm Macdonald, where he goes, huh? And then I say wicked quite a bit. That's like wicked crazy. It's like wicked cold outside. Not sure. I think I picked that one. I just get that one from my dad. But apparently my friends don't hear some people say wicked. very often. Is that a Dewey? No, what the hell is that? That's not Greg. How do you edit in Blender? Like this. You go to... I open a new Blender window. You click on... You open new Blender, and then it's right here. It's video editing, and then you get your timeline, and you can just start dragging videos into it. That's it. That's how you edit in Blender. Follow for more Blender tutorials. If the question is how, like, how do you stomach editing in Blender? I'm just used to it at this point. I don't recommend it. If you're like me, I do it. I've talked about this before. I edit in Blender for the very specific reason that it's open source and free. And it's mainly for like I would just say it's for like a personal it's a personal vendetta against these fucking companies that charge an arm and a leg for creative software. Like Adobe. Or, what do you call it? Wait, you've been using Blender this whole time? I didn't always use Blender, but for all of Gemology, yes, I have been using Blender. Just pirate Adobe? Does this look like a computer that can run Adobe software to you? This is Debian. This is not Windows. What the hell is this thing? Wait, what? That's not Windows. What is this? Swirly? It's fucking Linux. I can't run Adobe on here. Open source software. I will never have the rug pulled from me again. I have this personal thing. This is literally only me. Like, I don't recommend people to do this unless they really fucking want to. It's just to use open source software for any creative projects that I'm working on. Or rather, like, open standards. Because I still use Obsidian, which the software itself is not open source, but the file format is. So, even if Obsidian shuts down and I can never download it ever again, then I can still use all of my files. Linux mentioned, hell yeah. I have to deal with Flash and it pains me. Imagine using Flash. Insane. Are you using Flash for animation? Also, the cursive is Rose Quartz handwriting. Too much of a media production person and a bit of a gamer to use Linux because it probably wouldn't run on here. That's kind of the reason I'm on Linux. Or the reason I use Blender is to, like, prove that Linux can be used to do creative shit. Because I use Blender for video editing. That's open source. I use Audacity for recording. That's open source. I use Obsidian for writing. The software itself is not open source, but the file format is. If I'm going to make a game, I'm going to use Godot. The engine is open source. What else? I use Zen Browser for browsing. That's open source. Games run fine on Linux. Like, any history of games not running on Linux is all gone after the Steam Deck came out. Other than your fucking, like, League of Legends. I don't know. League of Legends not working on Linux is probably a positive for Linux. You can run Windows software using stuff like Wine, right? It's certain things, certain graphics intensive things like, again, the Adobe suite doesn't really work through Wine. I've tried. Rather, games work well because they're like, most of the case, they're like single-threaded or some shit. And I've tried to get, for script writing, I found an alternative for script writing, which is to use a file format called Fountain, which has plugins for fucking VS Code of all things. But I tried to get Final Draft. I was going to say Final Cut. No, Final Draft working on Linux. Because that is software that I paid for. And I couldn't get it to work properly. So I just found a new format. Are there any other good voice recording software? I think Audacity's the best. Unless you have Adobe software, in which case Audition is really good. In fact, I prefer Audition. Of all the Adobe software that I miss, I think Audition is one of the bigger ones. But Audacity literally does everything that Audition does, but just a little bit clunkier because, you know, it's open source software. I would say if you're gonna build a PC and dual boot it, I would boot it primarily into like Mint, and then have Windows as backup. Because not having Microsoft shit constantly like bogging down your computer is really nice. In fact, I've talked about this before. I don't actually know. I don't think I talked about this on stream. Maybe I have, I don't know, but I don't know how to use Windows 11. Yeah, I did talk about that. I talked about this last week. The teachers at the school I work at got new computers that all run Windows 11, and I tried to help one of them with something, and it's running fucking Windows 11, and I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what any of this is. I really need to learn how to process my audio more. Because as of now, I just record it, cut, and export. Usually that's the same thing that I do because I've always learned that getting it right straight out of the microphone, or rather in photography, getting a photo right straight out of the camera is the best practice. However, audio might be a little bit different because if you're recording in a bad environment, with a lot of like white noise in the background, it's pretty simple to remove noise from the background. And you can do things like, if you're also doing music, you can do volume envelopes. Let's do an example. I'm going to do a little bit of audio tutorial. How about that? We're going to open up Audacity. What should I record? Give me a funny voice phrase to record, and I'm gonna do a little bit of recording, or I'll record something off of my I use this app to remove background noise. You don't necessarily need a I recorded a funny line. There's a 4chan post that says it's this is just quality slop. You only like it because it's good. I'm gonna record that real quick. Okay, here we go. This is just quality slop. You only like it because it's good. Okay, check it. I'm gonna pause the music. And bring the volume up a little bit. We're going to listen to this back. This is just quality slop. You only like it because it's good. Okay. First thing you do is actually it's usually pretty good straight out of the thing, but if you're in Audacity, you can do this thing called a volume envelope. The envelope tool lets you adjust certain parts, the volume of certain things. Just it's really simple. You can straight up just do this to make kind of everything leveled out. I don't have a lot of background noise in my office, so it's hard to demonstrate removing background noise. I don't know. I was just doing that for doing fade in and out. It's a good practice. If I took the time to do it, I would try to make this as boxy level as possible. But Gemology videos are pretty much the one thing that I've been working on for, other than a couple reviews here and there, the one thing that I've been working on most of the time, so it's easy to just have a little voiceover and that's it. But if you're doing voice acting or doing vocal editing for a creative project, this is a better practice. So you can bring your stuff that's too loud, you bring it down, bring up the quieter stuff. And then if you need to remove let's record, I'm just going to record some phrase here, and there we go. Yeah. With a little bit of silence. If you need to remove background noise, you grab a little bit of this silence, just highlight it. You click effect, noise removal, noise reduction. Since you have this highlighted, you click get noise profile. I think that's it. And then whoops. And then you have to do that again. Effect, noise removal. And then now that you have that noise profile, you can reduce, or you can even isolate the noise. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can reduce the noise and then it does it automatically. It's pretty slick. But again, my office is pretty quiet. I don't got a lot of background noise or fans running in the background. It's pretty good. I went to college for this shit, so we're gonna get into the message next episode, and it'll I'll get to talk about fucking audio shit. Anyway, let me get the Stardew music playing once again. Where the hell? Okay. I forget that the soundtracks that I buy on Steam I have to play them in Steam. I like that I did my little audio tutorial and chat went silent. The message episode has video audio element to it. That's what I fucking went to college for, so it's my territory. I don't do it professionally. I mean, I kind of do it professionally because YouTube, but I went to college for digital mass media. So video and audio is that's my domain. I don't know how much else there is in this episode. I feel like what I said in the video was what I really wanted to talk about. We got so off topic I did a fucking Audacity tutorial during the stream. I buy soundtracks? Yeah, because if you buy a soundtrack on Steam, you get the raw files you can use for videos. And generally, pro tip, video game music generally, not cases for every video game soundtrack, but they don't get claimed on YouTube. Greg's van seats look comfortable as hell. Let me look ahead to... I think a comfortable car seat is like a lost art. Because I've sat in modern cars, and goddamn do they, are they uncomfortable. I mean, it doesn't do much when your posture is like this guy. Royalty-free music library isn't really my taste for background music. I agree. I think that's... I see these royalty-free, or the, I don't know. I like to call them YouTube videos with, like, canned editing, where the person recording themselves ends up hiring an editor, and that editor uses, like, a stock music library or whatever. It's a... I'm not a fan of that kind of thing. You guys know what I'm talking about, like the default YouTube editing style. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like canned editing. That's the only way I can describe it. It's also why I want to keep editing videos on my own. Yeah, what was I gonna say? I don't want to throw shade at anyone because at some point I want to get... I don't want to like burn bridges, but I'm not gonna name names, but there are a few YouTubers out there that use the Fiverr editors or whatever, and they're just... I don't know, the pacing of the videos is too like... Oh, it's too like quick or something. Could you give an example of who does it? I could give an example of a channel that I don't really enjoy that much, so I don't burn bridges. Let me think. Ah, shit. I can't even think about it. Bouncy, moving every 5 seconds. Nothing stays still. Everything has to have a transition or float in place. You got it. You nailed it on the head. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Where like if you're gonna put an image on screen, it's gotta be like moving or like drifting around a little bit. And if you're gonna cut to like a different visual, it's gonna... You gotta have a transition. You gotta have it wipe. You gotta slide it in. Sunny V2. That's one that I'm definitely thinking of. I was literally like picturing those thumbnails in my head, and I could not think of who it was that did those videos. Sunny V2. If you want it done right, do it yourself. Exactly. I hate the Sunny V2 style. I think those thumbnails are a filter. I can check. Let's go to youtube.com. I don't think they're drawn as far as I know. No, I think they are... Well, I don't know. These days, it could be a fucking AI filter or whatever. I just want to show these. It looks like... They look like GTA loading screens, if that makes any sense. I don't even know who any of these people are, and I don't, like, care. Yeah, how does the water fill up the floor here? Because, like, it's covered, first of all. But there still could be water getting in, of course. But then there's no, like, it's not like a pool. It's just like a ledge. There shouldn't be that much standing water. Even if it is, like, a quarter-inch deep. Yeah, the Sunny V2 style is what, It's so, like, canned. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm sure he does all the writing and the voiceover, of course. But I don't believe that he does the fucking editing, because I feel like that editing is such, like, an obvious, like, Fiverr style. Also, Greg should not be standing on the warp head because he's gonna get fucking vaporized. That's why I keep my videos relatively still and let my voice do the work. That's exactly why in Gemology I do hard cuts and don't show my face. Because I want the... It's just, I don't know, that kind of editing is just really distracting to me specifically. I don't know how... If I were to do that kind of editing in Gemology, I would be so much more focused on the editing rather than the video itself. I feel like that's, as a viewer and as the person creating the video. It's just, it's distracting. I don't know, everything moving around, it's like sensory overload to me. Yeah, imagine Garnet comes back at warping and crushes Greg. He's gonna be a red stain on the floor if someone warps in. That's what I always described it as, key jingling editing. I'm glad that there are people on the same page as me, because I don't know, I know people who like those videos. I know people who like that style of video, and I just cannot. I don't know. It's... I just make my videos based on the people that I like to watch. Like, even the gameplay kind of people. Because I watch, like, Vinny Vinesauce and Germa, who don't tend to show their faces necessarily. It's just the game and then their voice. And that's what I like. It's simple. That's what I will do. I think that's everyone's kind of... The way they end up making their creative projects is based mostly on the things that they enjoy. So I'm just gonna do my simple editing. That's also works very well using an editor like Blender. Though I've done some crazy shit with Blender with just the editing. Just for fun, just to try it. I just don't have a practical use for any crazy transitions and shit. The Germa baseball stream is the only time I've watched a full baseball game. I haven't seen the Germa baseball stream like start to finish. I have watched several baseball games because baseball is my favorite sport. Next Gemology should involve subtitles and the screen should be shaking. Oh yeah, hell yeah. They're talking this weird ass tone. I write my videos how I speak. I remember this I got a chat member from a previous stream that came in, and this stuck with me so much, is that, like, they came in, in the chat, they said, "You sound like you do in your videos," and that, like, baffled me. But at the same time, I kind of understand it, because a lot of people don't make their videos the same way they talk in real life. I intentionally try to write the same way that I talk, so then it sounds natural when I record. Feels like you're having a chat with a mate. Why did I say mate? Because you're British. I don't know. If you were Australian, you would have said an old mate. I think reading lines how you talk in real life is the best way to go. I have so many, like, unwritten rules for the way I make these videos. If someone tried to come in and make a Gemology video for me, like, Gemology will always be written, voiced, and edited by me, because it's like, how the fuck do you make my video if you're not me? I don't know what else to say, chat. It's we're getting to that 2-hour mark where I always tend to cut the streams because I run out of things to say about the episode. What else is there to say about the episode? We're getting into the philosophy of, like, video editing and creating, like, being a personality on the internet, which I'm sure everybody can relate to. Everybody. I swear, when I meet a stranger in person and they sound like, "You're Source Master," I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna have a mental breakdown in public. This sign has not changed in, like, 20 years. I would write my videos the way I talk, but I think I also talk a bit too fast IRL, and I need to slow down so that people can understand me. That might help. Writing videos might help with that, because when you're writing, you're getting a really good chance to, like, pick your words carefully, which I've learned to do when I speak normally. I think I hesitate. I stop a lot when I'm speaking because I'm picking my words. Because I don't want to just say shit and then have it come out wrong or have it come out stupid. But I do want to do... I've always wanted to do voice acting. I still do want to do that at some point, but I feel like that's such a different skill than just reading a script for a video. I need like coaching. Chat, I'm gonna be the seagull and I'm gonna say see you later, because it is getting to that point where I do wanna end the stream so I can continue playing fucking Minecraft. I was playing a lot of Minecraft earlier today, and I kind of want to go back to it pretty soon. I would love to voice act for someone else's show. I want to get my own show. Oh, I've got ideas for my own show, a couple of them that I want to do. I have always also wanted to, this is more recent, like past year or so, I wanted to get into, like, community theater. Because a lot of, like, stage productions translates really well to, voice acting, apparently. So I can learn a little bit about, like, stage acting. Do a little, community theater. It'd be fun. Modded or vanilla? I started a vanilla world because I just wanted to try all the new shit. Copper golems. I found a dried ghast. I want to try those out. Maybe someday. Maybe I will stream that on Twitch. I started a world with the intention of having that world forever because I keep starting... I keep doing that to myself. I start new worlds and then I get bored of them. Or I delete them or whatever. I don't know. It feels like creating new characters in Skyrim. I'm making an animation of Kirby turning into my favorite YouTubers. Can I add you to the animation? I suppose, if you want. If you need me to do a little funny voice line for it, I can as well. I'll do, if people ask and really nicely, I will do funny voice lines for them, for their projects. Not just for their personal use, but if you're making something and you need little funny voice lines for it, I will do funny voice lines for you. Anyway, chat room. See you later. I'm gonna be the seagull, and I'm gonna say see you later, because I do want to return to my video games pretty soon. If you do want to get in contact with me, you can email sourcemaster@sourcemaster.net or find my Discord in the description, as always. And a good night to Steve. Steve is not in the room with me right now, but I will pet him. Good night, everybody. Will the next episode be The Return? The next episode on YouTube is... it's The Message, and then it will be Political Power, and then it'll be The Return. I always thought it was a duck, but a seagull makes way more sense. Yeah, I was going to call it a duck initially, but it's a seagull, because it's a beach city. Okay. Good night, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Yeah.